All right, welcome once again, you guys, to Fan Expo Vancouver. I am your host and moderator, Thor Dykow. Thank you very much for joining us, and what an esteemed panel we have here, the entire cast, well, most of the main players, right, of iZombie. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. I love seeing all these little lead wigs peeking out at me. That makes me so happy.
So here's what we'll do. We'll run about 45 minutes, and I'll just have a brief Q&A with you myself, and then we'll open it up to the questions from the audience. The mics are set up there in the various, both aisles there, just a couple of rows from the front. So just come up and line up if you'd like to ask the cast a question. And you can adjust the mic any way you like. And when we finished the panel, just please exit to your left there. Other than that, we are pretty much good to go. Rose, I want to start with you, and I'm actually going to go back and talk about something different than iZombie. One of your first gigs was The Lovely Bones. So talk to me about working on that film and working with the great director Peter Jackson.
That was, it was my first year out of high school. I'd worked quite a bit in New Zealand in like film and television back there, but it was the first time I had worked on a job in the States. So it was pretty huge. It was 3 months living in Philadelphia and working with a bunch of people I had like long admired. If you're from New Zealand, working with Peter Jackson's kind of like the dream. So that was awesome. And everybody was really welcoming and supportive. It was a great kind of foray into what these big productions would be like, and I had a great time working on it. It's a story, I love Alice Sebold's writing so much. I thought it was a wonderful novel, huge privilege, yeah.
I also loved you in Masters of Sex. That was a great show. And what was it like to play Tinkerbell on Once Upon a Time?
Thank you. Two pretty different characters, the Masters of Sex character and the Tinkerbell.
That was a weird transition.
Yeah, exactly.
Sex, Disney character.
Not mutually exclusive. But yeah, no, I love playing Tinkerbell. I mean, what a like fun kids fantasy. Like, do you think they'll ever grow up and be able to play that character? It was like a dream come true. So I had a really good time. I made a lot of my very close friends on that show. The fans of Once Upon a Time have been amazing. They are so supportive. I really love the community that they have with each other as well, and knowing how many friends have kind of connected like worldwide and gotten to know each other through the show. So it's a total privilege to be part of that universe.
I want to pass it over to Robert there at the end there. The second episode of the current season was a special one for you, particularly because you had to consume the brains of a teenage girl and really work on your selfie game, right? Did. Talk to us about the acting challenge and how much fun that must have been to tackle that episode.
Yeah, it wasn't a challenge, because anyone who knows me knows that that's how I behave. And in fact, I think that kind of came about because all the writers had seen me sort of do that bit. Like, that's just how I talk. Like, I routinely say, like, my life is so hard. That's just how I emote. So it wasn't a challenge. That was the weirdest part about it. But when I showed up to work, I remember saying to our executive producer, Dan Etheridge, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna swing for the fences and you guys can pull me back. Thinking it would be like, ooh, pull it way back. And instead they're like, we think you can go farther. So that was a blast to do.
Awesome. And Rahul, you've also done a bit of a crossover, not with your character necessarily, but you've also appeared in Supergirl. Talk to us about how that came about and what your experience working on that show was like as well.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. We had finished iZombie and I got back to LA, getting some California sun, and they were like, oh no, don't unpack. You're going back to Vancouver to the snow. And I was like, awesome, all right. So yeah, it was great to do another show on CW, and Supergirl's got a great fan base, and I got to play a bit of a villain. So that was cool. Yeah, it was a great experience, and Melissa and Katie and Chris.
All right, stop talking about them.
They're the best cast I've ever worked with. Melissa's the best lead of a show I've ever worked with.
You have no idea. He lords this over me once a week at least.
Yeah, Melissa wouldn't say that.
As an actor, was it harder for you to play the sexy sidekick or the sexy bad guy?
Both presented their own challenges.
And Allie, in addition to your acting, you also have a bit of a singer-songwriting duo with your sister. Yeah. What can you tell us about that?
Gosh, I'm like getting shy. Well, we're releasing our EP next Friday, the 17th. Or I guess this coming Friday now, yeah, since it's this Sunday. And yeah, AJ and I are finally back making music. It's been like 10 years since we've released anything under Ali and AJ. And oh gosh, stop, Rahul.
Is this a sneak preview?
Guys, the rest of the Q&A is 45 minutes of us just listening to Ali's songs in silence.
Look it up, guys. It is such good music. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. Ali has heard me sing Potential Breakup Song probably 40 times in the last few months leading up to
Rose has an Ali and AJ t-shirt.
Yeah.
So she's a real fan.
And Malcolm, how often do people come up to you and cite the LMFAO video Party Rock Anthem? Because that is still an amazing song and video, and I love you in that bit. So what was that? What was it like working on that? And do you still have people citing that one when they come up to you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was the best favor I have ever done in my life. Yeah, my friend directed that video, and so I had never heard the song. I was just wrapping up a show called Breakout Kings at that time. Yeah! The Breakout Kings fans, yeah! And so when I got back to LA, I literally landed, got in like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or something like that, and the director called me and said, would you mind showing up at the Warner Brothers lot at 5 o'clock in the morning to shoot this music video? And I had never heard the song. I showed up, and he was like, I'm like, so what's going on? He goes, yeah, so there's just this zombie apocalypse thing, so just talk some smack, you know, at the beginning of the thing. And so it's all improv. We're just sitting there improv, and next thing you know, 1.3 billion hits later, you know, it just blew up. So, but yeah, people ask me, you know, I always got to say, it'll get in your bones, you know.
And Malcolm ad-libbed that. That wasn't scripted. You made that up.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, action, yeah. What are y'all doing here? It'll get in your bones. And then made the cut. Yeah, and that's how that worked out.
That is awesome.